charging away.
Hopefully now they can hear us, and now they should be able to see us, and they can because I can see myself here.
There I am.
Hey. Perfect. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, man. Doing really good. I'm getting excited. I'm just posting up my link in the.
Yeah, that's perfect. Like we haven't spoken in at least 3 hours now, so it's a long time. Yeah. We were at the I was gonna say the Uplift show, but it's not. It's Crypto Writer.
Yeah,
and above me it's going crazy right now. I have all sales on Atomic Hub popping up above us, and I think that will lag. And I don't think we will see all sales. I might have to turn it off if it goes too crazy. But okay, welcome to the show, mate. You are here. You have not been here before, so let's introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you doing in the space? And yeah, let's start there.
So I'm Recourier. I have no idea what I'm doing in the space. I'm making it up as I go along. I started in crypto several years ago and was just on the crypto side of things. I've been involved in various amounts on different projects, and really last year started to get more into the NFT space. I came in through Upland. I played Upland and still have an Upland account and still play. And pretty quickly after that, I got into Wax and then started playing around in there. And I made for Upland, I made a collectibles type collection, Upland comics and collectibles. And I had this whole idea about making comics as NFTs. And I met a bunch of people in Upland. And getting a text. So I met a bunch of people in Upland, and some of us had kind of similar ideas, and we were talking about our ideas about like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you did this, and wouldn't it be cool if you did that? And I had a really, I want to eventually find a way to do like a custodial escrow where you take your old comics that you collected when you were a kid and you get them graded or whatever, and then you associate that to an NFT. I think that would be really cool, but I also wanted to make like little comic strips and different stuff. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Mars, Utah, and he was kind of thinking about the same thing. And we were talking about how are we going to do that? And we were friends with Left House, and I go on Left House stream fairly regularly every Friday. And then we talked to a couple other guys, and Mars has a friend, ADK Original, who does a lot of this drawing and stuff as well. And so we just said, well, it's cool. We've all got our own collections on Wax. Why don't we do a thing like I'll put out some and you'll put out some, and then you've got to collect all of these. And I just, this is last summer now. Yeah. And towards the end of last summer, I was like, you know what, guys, none of us could do this alone. But if you take this whole group of us together, we have all the things we need. So why don't we just go for it? Why don't we just do it for real? And so we decided that we were gonna really go for it. We wanted to be a serious collection on Wax. We wanted to play with the big boys. And then we started planning. And probably the first 2 months of planning was just figuring out how we wanted it to work, how we wanted the collection to work, what mechanics we wanted, how we wanted this whole universe and metaverse to come together. And we started doing the writing. We did the writing first. We wrote backstories. We wrote scripts for the comics. We planned out way on down the road so that we knew what the characters were going to develop into. And then after we had the first couple issues planned out and the backstory planned out and all that, that's when we started developing the characters. So they all had that backstory. The characters are not, they're sort of loosely related on us, but it's kind of like, you know, a fun version of us. Like, well, if we didn't have to play by the rules, or we didn't have to
so if you were not
world.
boring, this is who you would be. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So and you know, there are some portions of our more youthful indiscretions that may have been injected in there. And then it was like, well, if we were going to be a superhero, what would our superhero be, right?
Yeah.
And it just, we built it all over time and built all the characters. And so the biggest thing is we are a comic book, not company, but we're a comic book that has also collectibles. And we're coming out with the collectibles first, really for the reason that there's no good long form NFT DApp out there. There's great platforms, there's great marketplace platforms, and I don't want to take anything away from them. I use Atomic every day. NFT Hive I use regularly. There's lots of them, but they're really built for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 images, right?
Yeah.
A comic book is going to be pages and pages and pages. And so we had to try and figure out how we were going to solve that problem, because we didn't want to do it if we were going to do it halfway. And so we now more or less have figured out how we're going to do it. And now we're working on building it. So, our website now is mostly informational, but in the future, our website will essentially be a DApp. You'll log in and you will go and you'll be able to read our comic books like a book. There will be pages. You'll turn the pages. You'll see the page flips. It's going to be all of that stuff. And we have some solutions for how to do that, and wiring everything together so that you log in with your Wax wallet, it sees what you own, it populates your inventory, you can open it. And the other thing is, we're not just doing static comic books. Now our commons will be essentially static, and that's really easy to solve, actually. That's not too hard. But our more higher rarity comic books, the pages are going to be dynamic. There's going to be things moving on the pages, and how to fold in a page flip e-reader type mechanism with dynamic images has been a bit of a creative problem to solve, but we've got ideas. We think we've got it figured out. Now it's just a matter of making it happen and testing it and everything.
How big is the team that are working with you?
So we have 5 founders, and then we have other people that are just kind of helping along with us, working with us, and we're going to kind of grow on that. So we're working with Jonah and Atomic Hub for our launch.
Yeah,
because
which is on Saturday, if anyone is
it is
paying
on
attention.
Saturday. Which we don't have the team together now to write our own code and do all of the pack launch stuff ourselves, but we will be able to build more things in the future, and we'll hope to expand this.
So the interactive comic with both the static and the dynamic material is something you want to build with the funding from this pack sale. Is that how I understand it, or has that already been started?
So we've already started on it, and we've got parts of it built and coded.
Yeah.
But the pack sale is going to help fund that as well. So what we're selling this Saturday is a set of collectibles that are cards, basically collectible cards. And so what we want to build here is an ongoing comic book series. We have roughly the first 2 years of issues laid out. Some storyboarding is done. We have some collaborations in place. We know what it's going to do. And the whole idea is that, and it ties in really well to our conversation this morning about, it's not so much that Upland is a metaverse and Alien Worlds is a metaverse and this other thing is a metaverse. It's like a multiverse of metaverses that all move in and out of each other. And that's the concept of the comic, that it takes something from the reality or the metaverse reality that we know and interlaces it with just fun comic book stuff, right? And that's going to help us move through and collaborate with all of these projects. But that's also our brand that we're building, and part of that brand is going to be things like collectible cards, right? So we have this series of collectible cards. You're going to be able to get hats and shirts and stuff if that's something that you're into. And we're talking with other people about other types of options for collaborations and merchandising and stuff like that. We really want to be serious about making a step in, what Marvel or DC would do with their comic books, right? We want to, and we're not saying that we're going to be a Marvel or DC. That would be great. We're not saying we won't either. Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah.
But they don't just make a comic book and then that's it, and then they move on to the next thing. They build these universes that intertwine, and they build these characters that people connect with, and they build these brands that are more than just a comic book. And that's kind of our idea. So that's what we're going with. So another big part of what we decided when we were going to make these collectibles is we we're very, very careful that we didn't want it to just be, here's something we're putting out, and there wasn't thought put into it. So every decision we made, we went over it and said, how does this decision with the collectibles make sense in the larger picture? How does this decision make sense in the lore and the backstory? We didn't want anything to be arbitrary. So we actually were dropping little Easter eggs and stuff back in 2020. If you go back and look at some of our live streams and different stuff that we did 6 months ago, you can actually see little hints at things. But when we talked about the collectibles, there's kind of a thing that's happening now in the collectibles market where they make a ton, like a huge amount, especially of commons. And then they say, all right, we're going to give you guys some burn mechanism that's going to reduce the supply. And then people are like, well, what's the burn mechanism? And they're like, well, we don't know. We're going to come up with something. We just know that we're going to destroy like a massive portion of the collection, and we'll figure that part out later. We just know we have to destroy a whole bunch of the cards. And it doesn't seem thoughtful, and it doesn't seem like it gives proper homage to the art itself. So for us, we said we want to keep our burn mechanism fairly small, but we want it to be there, and it absolutely has to be part of the story. It has to be part of the lore. And so the whole...
How do you get like a burn mechanism to work inside a comic?
So for the collectibles, that's where the burn mechanism will be. For the cards, which we're issuing this weekend. The comics, there's not going to be burning of comics. We We want the comic book collecting to feel like when you were a kid, right? You can't wait for that issue to come out. What you want from that issue is to read the issue. We want the story to be front and center. And we talked about, well, what if you have to collect pages, and what about this and what about that? And then that makes getting the comic book a bit of a job, right?
Yeah.
We can do those fun things with collectibles. That's where that makes sense, and that's where we're doing it. But we want people to be excited to open their comic book and read it. They can't wait to know what's the next step in the story, what's the next development, what happens to these people. And we don't want to distract that joy of comic books from having to build it, right? So when the comic books come out, you're going to open the comic books and
yeah, because it's essentially two different types of people that want to do that kind of things. Well, right. It doesn't have to be. It can be the same people.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have to be the same guy that want to read something or want to collect the pieces of something.
Right. And so there's going to be something for everybody. So we're going to issue a comic book every 2 months starting this summer. In between those, we're going to have some other little things that happen and come out so that it's not boring. We're always going to have some kind of things happening. But, you know, this big series 1 release is going to be big, and we might do something this size when it makes sense, when we introduce enough new characters in the comic book series for us to have a series 2. We'll do that when it happens organically. So for the collectible series, which is this weekend, so in the comic books, you know, there's this standard kind of trope, we'll call it, though I don't love the word trope, where you have the everyday man, and then there's a thing that happens, right? He gets bit by a radioactive spider, or he comes from another planet, or whatever. And there's always, you know, like the Clark Kent and the Superman, or the Peter Parker and the Spider-Man. There's always 2 halves to it. And so what happens with us is there's this force, there's this kind of ethereal type thing called the essence that most citizens, most people don't know what to do with it. And there's just this handful of people that know how to take that essence, and it requires working together with another something, another object or altar, which we call them. And when you add those things together, just the right person and just the right altar and just the right amount of essence, they then create what we call a champion. And so in the collectibles, the only way to get the champion is to take the correct citizen, the correct altar, and the essence of the correct rarity, combine them and get your champion. So 80% of the cards are going to be pre-mint. The first 80% that you get to are going to be pre-mint. And that's important. A lot of people really like and prefer that pre-mint scenario. But the champions are going to be mint on demand from Metafusion. So the people that really like that excitement,
this guy,
right? They're going to get.
I like pre-minted is awesome because you can open a pack at any time and have something fun in it. I love what the horrors are doing when like there's a chance that some cards in the pack is pre-minted and some are not. Like that is crazy because when you open something, you don't know what you get, and then when you go back through all of them, you are excited to see if there is a hashtag or not in the card, if there is a pre-minted one, and also all the mint sprints when you try to collect the things like the Mars cards. You have to go crazy to find them. Like there are 20 cards and there are 1 million NFTs. Like you need 5 to upgrade them. There's 1 million NFTs. Who are the first 20 people that can do this? That will be a crazy thing. And like I understand that it's frustrating if you don't get it and you really wanted it, but that's part of the fun. You didn't get it this time. Like the Our Planet sale, those that were whitelisted, you had a chance to buy a second pack if you were fast with the first one, because you had a 30-minute countdown, and then if you were fast you could buy a second time, which I managed to do. Which means that I bought like the small land packs. I got 2 of them, which is very nice. But I understand that other people didn't get them and they will be sad about it. But that is exactly why it's fun. You need to have something that you can struggle for or work for to get. And if you miss out, that's great. In my chat on Telegram, there was a lot of people that got the second pack of the big pack. And they were so excited about it. I didn't get it, but I'm very happy either way because I was trying, I wanted it, but I didn't get it. But it was fun either way.
So yeah, that excitement is going to be what our Metafusion is for. Now we did one little wrinkle on this, right? And this is something that we discussed internally back and forth how to handle it in a couple of different ways. So what's the one big thing that everybody is freaked out about with pre-mint packs and mint sprints? I might accidentally burn a mint number 1.
I did that on MLB. No, it wasn't MLB. It was. No, it was. It wasn't. It was Exit Limbo. I burned the mint number 1 Exit Limbo. Yeah.
So what we did is we separated our pre-mint into 2 pools. The first pool, the first 40% of cards open, there are no mint number 1s in there. So the people that are rushing, you can't accidentally burn a mint number 1 until 40% of the packs are
interesting.
Open. And we talked about protecting more. We said, well, should we protect everything under 10? Should we this? Should we that? And one of our founders said, like, well, that's going to take some of the excitement out of it, right? Some people are going to worry about burning something. So we agreed, we're just going to protect the mint number 1s. You can still screw up and burn a mint number 2 or a mint number 3. Yeah. There's still stakes to the game because those are still very valuable cards.
Yeah.
Once we hit 40% of packs open, it's going to go into a second pool of cards. That's going to be all mint number 1s and everything.
All mint number 1s.
all mint number 1s and everything from whatever the mint number 41% up to 80% would be. So all the way up to 80% of the packs open, you can still get a mint number 1. There's still a reason to open these packs.
Yeah.
And then after 80%, it's going to be mint on demand packs. Now, there will still be the high rarity cards in there. There'll still be mythic and collector's edition cards in there. The other thing,
like before you continue, I really like this idea because I'm already in my mind thinking, okay, how can I structure my packs? I want to be a part of the rush, but I also want to keep packs to be on the last 40%. I need to keep track of how many are open, how I can game this, and that makes it into something more fun than just open a pack and hope you get something. Yeah. There's a game to it, and gamification is fun.
There's a big game right around that 40%, right? Because people are going to watch, and I think there's going to be this race for Metafusion, and then it's going to slow down, and people are going to start checking how many packs are open. And then as soon as you hit the 40%, people are going to go gung-ho again looking for those mint number 1s, right? Because they don't want to get left out. And so I think so there's another thing that we have to be very clear with the public about. This is another thing that we're doing that is controversial. So our packs can be opened for 1 year, and that's it.
Oh.
So if you don't open the pack after the last day of April in 2022, the smart contract for the pack opening will be closed and all templates will be closed.
Is that something that will be very clear inside of pack information on each NFT?
Right on the face of the pack, it says must open by this date.
Nice.
We're putting a long disclaimer in the metadata that says you've got to open it by this date. And I'm making a point of making it very clear on every interview that I do. We're posting it in the Discord. We want it to be super obvious. We don't want anybody to mistake what's going on. And there's a reason we did this because us in the group, we're collectors. And there's always this uneasiness as a collector where all of your NFTs say this number of infinity.
Yeah.
You never know how many are going to be there. And one thing that really drives certain people nuts is you may have like a collector's edition one, and you may be sitting there and you're the only one that has that collector's edition one. And it might be that way for a couple years. And somebody might be sitting on 1,000 packs and everybody thinks, here's the value of our collectible, right? And then some guy could just be like, you know what, I'm going to open 1,000 packs today and dilute the entire value proposition of the entire collection. Somebody that had a one-of-one collectible edition might now be one of 3, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're always waiting for the other shoe to fall. And
But
so
that, like, for me, like, I love gambling, which is obvious. I'm a degenerate for sure, which is why I keep away from all the casinos. Why I buy NFT packs. I pretend that I actually make money from it, so I justify my addiction.
yeah,
Like, the unknown for me is something that is very excited. But I am this kind of person. Another kind of person, which is the guy that want to have control. They want to know what it is, what I'm buying. The real collector, because I'm not the collector. I'm a gambling addict, NFT lover, hype mania, and I have a lot of NFTs and I collect NFTs, but I am not the pure collector, like in the sense of a collector, whatever we should call them.
So we did this for 2 reasons. One, we want to have as much of the collection in circulation as possible. We want people to want to open the packs. And once it becomes a year from now, we want people to look at their templates, and their templates are no longer going to say, and their cards are no longer going to say this number of infinity. They're going to say this number of this many. And that can't ever get diluted.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying we're going to do all our packs in the future like that. And our comic books aren't going to be like that. Our comic books are going to be really, really traditional in the sense that there'll be packs. Those smart contracts will be open. You can open that comic book several years from now. You can open it right away. There's going to be no pre-mints. Whoever opens them first can get mint number 1. We wanted to be able to speak to every different type of collector and NFT enthusiast, and we wanted to give them all something that fits them.
Yeah, one question there directly. Like, for a comic book, it kind of makes sense to have an unlimited sale, but it also makes sense to have a limited small sale. So where are you going with that?
They're going to be limited. There's only going to be a certain amount. We're going to have 3 rarities of comic books, and there will be limits on those rarities. And they're not going to be crazy high. And it's the same thing we did with our collectibles. Our total packs, so we calculated everything. We decided on our card counts based on how we thought and wanted our burn mechanism to go. And we can calculate how many we think roughly are going to get burned and where that's going to lead. And the way we do that is we put a limited resource in there, essence. Once you burn all the essence, you can't do any more crafting. So the scenario that every single pack got opened, right? The most, including all of our promotional packs, everything would be 90,000 cards, which is not big in this space right now. You know, there's stuff coming out with 1 million cards. And we're going to have 90,000. And then a third of that can theoretically be burned.
Just the idea of 1 million cards is crazy, because we have been crying on Garbage Pail Kids for so long for producing so many NFTs. And here we go, collection after collection is getting closer and closer to the supply of Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, okay, the market is a little bit different than 10 months ago.
For sure. Yeah. So people, you know, the first people that are going to be minting, they're going to definitely have this desire to mint, because there's this huge amount of essence on the market and there's very, very few champions, right? You could even get mint number 1 of a champion. So people are going to do that. But as those get filled up, you know, people are going to have to make a decision. Well, I don't have much essence left. Do I want to burn the rest of my essence to get a champion that might be a higher mint number? Now, the place that it gets really interesting, and we spent a lot of time thinking about and discussing how our collector's edition was going to work. And so the most amount of collector's editions, if everything got burned equally, would be 3 champions. Now there is a possibility that, you know, somebody overburns on one champion and underburns on another, but the ability to get 3 of one type of champion is going to require probably almost all of the packs to be open. And then you as the collector are going to have to get a collector's edition of the Citizen, a collector's edition of the Altar, and a collector's edition of Essence. And you're going to have to decide that you want to burn those 3 cards to get one collector's edition champion back. And since each of those cards will only have 6 mints, you're probably going to have to make a decision on burning a mint 2 or a mint 3 or something like that. In this way, it's very, very possible that these collector's edition champions may be one of ones. And I would be surprised if any of them got up to the 3, but it's possible. So there's a very, very big potential value proposition there. And that is 100% the choice of the individual collectors and what they can stomach crafting. So it's really it's a really interesting dynamic, and we're really interested to see how it plays out. And we're really interested to see how the community takes to the idea of a limited release with a limited crafting period and a limited pack opening period. The whole idea of all of this was to create as much value as possible for our the people that supported us in Series 1. And we wanted it to be small. We wanted it to be relatively inexpensive to get into it. So the packs are $5 and $25. You know, we want every type of collector, even the ones that don't have tons of wax, to be able to get in, to enjoy it. And we didn't feel like we needed to make a ton of money the first time around. We want this to be a very, very special Series 1. So you're going through this screen right there. This is another thing that we did. We took our entire matrix of calculations for how many cards there were going to be, which card types, everything. It's right on our website. You can click through it and know exactly what all of it is. The entire supply, you know, all the different rarities, how all the different pools work. We wanted to be 100% transparent with everyone. So,
yeah, like there is really a lot of the information here. And we can see all the different animations and everything. So this is all good. Like, yeah, there's a lot of information here to digest for people. And this is good that they can, after we are done today, they can actually go to the website. They have 2 days to prepare. They can go and look at it. Okay, is this something I want to go into? How deep should I go into it? But we already have a few questions. I think we should go and answer as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of them has mentioned something that, like, each collection right now is being asked when our planet, and you put out an announcement yesterday. So let's go into our planet.
So we will be staked on our planet. Bonds has said it publicly on multiple different interviews. We have done the application. We've given them all of our collection numbers, and so the when is kind of up to our planet. They have a team that goes through our collection numbers and assigns the staking values, and they will tell us when. I don't think it's not going to be months off. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. And if actually one of the things, this is another little game we have, if you go to the Our Planet tab, you can actually guess at what you think the staking rates of ours will be. And since you have all the information about the staking rates of other projects, and we gave you the total card counts of all of our cards, you know, you can just wing this and throw some numbers in there for fun, or there are some people that are going to do the calculations and whatever. And depending
this is very accurate that I'm guessing now.
Yes, I'm seeing that. So so you can win packs. You'll be able to win Metaforce packs. So if you get anything between 1 and 3 right, you'll get one of our promotional packs. And if you get 4 or more right, you'll get a small pack. And if you happen to get them all right, you'll get a big pack. And you know, I don't know that a lot of people are going to get them all right, but I think we're gonna be able to give away quite a few of the promo packs. So that's another way to gamify it. And we wanted to think of ways to bring a lot of different enjoyment to all of this, that wasn't based exclusively just on burning cards and putting stuff together. So
Yeah. And there is one. Okay, they want the link as well. The link is in the description, by the way. I didn't see that you asked for it. It's in the description. But
metaforcecomics.io. So it's pretty straightforward.
Can you burn commons all the way up, or what can you burn? Clarify that for people.
Every rarity will have a way to burn because there are 0 champion cards in the decks. So the only way to get a common champion is to burn a common citizen, a common altar, and a common essence. And that goes all the way up through. So even at Mythic and Collector's Edition, you have to use the cards that you have to get a champion. We didn't like the method where you burn this many of this card and then that bumps you up to the next one, and then you can burn some more and that bumps you up to the next one, because you never know what your final collection is going to look like. You know, you could end up burning so many commons and creating so many uncommons that your commons end up being more rare than your uncommons, right? We didn't really love that idea. So instead of having burn to upgrade, you have to do metafusion to make the champion. So it's a lateral building rather than a vertical building. And you know, people are going to decide how important it is to build a champion, how important it is to build a mint 1 champion. That's totally up to the collectors and for them to weigh out, you know, do I have duplicates of all these? You know, I suspect somebody's going to go out there and try and get duplicates of the collector's editions to make a champion. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for anyone to get 100% of this collection. It's not going to be impossible, but to do that, you know, you're gonna have to really work to get either duplicates of every collector's edition card where there's only a few, or you're going to have to go out and find them on the secondary market or whatever. So it's going to be challenging for sure.
Yeah, and like for anyone who want to do this upgrade sprint, you really need to go and digest this information. Like in my experience so far, if you want to be good at this, you have to put in the time to understand it, because that gives you such an advantage when things go wild.
Yeah. And so another thing you could do, I know there are a lot of collections that they'll make a card and then they'll say, here's the back to all our cards. Or they'll say, at least this one character, this is the backs for all of them. Every single back is its own design. So on the back of the cards, it will tell you what rarity that card is. And there's a color scheme that ties in on the front and the back. So every single front and every single back of every single card is its own dedicated image. There is no image or GIF used twice in the entire set.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very good. That is a lot of work, by the way.
It's a lot of work. Yes. That's
you should have told Alienware to do 2 different bags on all the different lands.
Yeah. So yeah, we wanted the art to be front and center. We wanted to show that you didn't have to mass produce stuff. You don't have to come out with 400,000 card set.
What?
You don't have to go out there and try and make as much money with as little effort. You know, we wanted to put out a product that we could all be proud of and you know, be able for us to go out to people that aren't even in the NFT space and be proud to say, like, we did that. We made those decisions. We wanted it to be special. And some people are going to get it. They're going to like the art. A lot of it is kind of throwback, comic booky style, a lot of colors. You know, some people are going to like simpler stuff, and that's okay too. It's everybody's got their own taste.
And since we're talking money, what's the price of the packs? What kind of packs are you selling? What can we buy on Saturday?
So on Saturday, there will be $5 packs and there will be $25 packs. The $5 packs will have 5 cards in them. The $25 packs will have 30 cards in them. All of the rarity calcs will be the same across the packs. You don't get some special chance to get something out of the bigger packs. The value proposition in the bigger packs is you get 30 cards for $25.
So each card is a little bit cheaper in the bigger pack.
Yeah. And you can get a whole bunch of those cards open. Those packs, you'll get them open and you'll get more cards to do the crafting.
JR is in the chat and he's asking the obvious question. What is the max purchase? Okay, what is the max buy per click is what I'm gonna translate that.
So there are 1,500 of the big packs. You can buy 2 of them at a time, which means...
What kind of cooldown do we have?
It's a 1-minute cooldown. So if you have 750 different buyers within that first minute, they're going to be gone. If you have less than that, then you're going to get a chance at more. The citizen packs, which are the smaller packs, there's 8,500 of them. You'll be able to get 10. So if there's 850 buyers, they'll all be gone in the first minute. And if there's not, you'll get a chance at additional. Our altar packs, which are going to be our promotional packs, those are ones that we're giving away for things like the Our Planet game on the website and stuff like that. We have 1,250 of those. There's 2 cards each. So that's 2,500 cards that we're just going to be giving away. They're going to go out to people as they engage with the community. Some of those will go into our mining pool. We do upland mining, so you'll be able to get those that way. There's a lot of different ways you'll be able to get those in as time goes on. So even if a bunch of these packs get opened and it's very hard to get a pack, you may still get a promotional pack sometime in the near future if you engage with the community.
And someone just asked if the pack drop was the link was open, and it's not. It's not on the website.
So we have it prepped, we have it ready. As soon as that gets all finished up, Jonah's doing all his work on testnet. He's making sure all the smart contracts are working nicely and all that stuff. And then
I have the one question that will also come up in the chats after, if not already. Will there be some kind of whitelist? Will there be a captcha? How will you prevent botting in some way? What's the plan?
So we're not going to be doing a whitelist for this drop. We're not saying it's impossible in the future. That's something we'll investigate. For this drop, I think we're going to keep it fairly simple because we limited them down pretty low. You can't get a whole lot without that cooldown, and we're hoping that will be able to get the job done. I've heard feedback both ways on the captchas. Some people think they're good for botting. Other people think it just wastes time and doesn't necessarily help the botting. So, I haven't had that conversation with Jonah yet, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to make a decision on that. But I think with the low amounts you can get and a relatively quick cooldown, that's going to allow people to get the packs that they want. So it's going to be very difficult for somebody to come in and get a massive amount of packs. They're going to have so many freaking accounts that just it'll be difficult for that. So we're hoping it gets a very broad distribution. And then our pack opening in the mid sprint, we're going to have a 1 hour cooldown between the pack sale and the metafusion, so that
that's good.
All the APIs can catch up, the network can cool down, and people don't get stuck in some kind of wallet lag, and then that messes them up for metafusion. So go get your packs. We talked about making it longer, making it a couple hours, making it a couple days, and that kind of, there's like too much of a lag to it. You want it all to be one big event. You want it to be excitement, and we felt that an hour was more than enough time for the network, the wallets, everything to cool back down, and then be ready for that next push.
I showed a timer for people, and I can show it again. But exactly what time in what time zone, what time will it drop, so people can?
So it'll be noon Eastern.
Noon Eastern.
Yep. And then
So
the
people
Metafusion will
can
open at 1
do
p.m.
math. That's good, and yeah, so that's awesome. It's good. May 1st, it's actually a holiday in Sweden. It's a Saturday, so it doesn't matter much. But yeah, that's nice. So I have something to celebrate. I can buy it. I can buy all of these. At least 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll get, a good amount of cards. Two of the one pack, and then 10 of the other pack gives you 110 cards, which is going to be a good amount to get started. And hopefully, with the cooldowns, maybe people will be able to get more packs, and there will be that hour between where if you really feel like you need more packs, I have a pretty high confidence that at least somebody's going to list them on the market, right?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. There are more, like, I used to be a pack flipper. Now I'm not. I open everything because it's so fun. But there will be people that just buy and sell packs. We have one question in the chat: will it be wax or credit card? And you can just answer that.
It'll be wax only. I'm not a big fan of the credit card sales. I think that it's not really healthy for the wax ecosystem, because you have a whole bunch of value that comes in without having to buy wax. So you don't have that buy pressure on wax to bring the price up. And we saw this right after MLB, a day or two after, all of this money that came in, now a portion of that's going to exit. Now they're going to exit by selling wax. And you never had that buy pressure on wax to balance out that sell pressure. So I'm not a big fan of the credit card sales. I don't think it's healthy for the wax economy. I think for some of the smaller sales in the past.
I think for a lot of Americans, it kind of makes sense because it's hard to buy wax if you are in the US, especially if you are not used to using crypto exchanges.
Yes. So it can be a little bit tough. But
for me in Sweden, I can do a SEPA transfer to any exchange, and I have the wax like this. Or I can use my credit card, or I can use a debit card, or I can even, like, we have a mobile payment system that is called Swish. I can send money to anyone in Sweden for free. It goes like this, anyone in Sweden. I think we have around 80% adoption of all Swedish people have this app. So I can buy in stores. Stores have to pay a small fee, but I can even buy Bitcoin with that. So I can get Bitcoin like this. I have it. I just have to wait for the Bitcoin transaction to go to my wallet. Like from Sweden, getting crypto is super easy. And I know one bank that do not accept any. You can't even buy crypto. You can't get any deposit from an exchange to that bank. But my bank has no issues, and I have deposited money the last few weeks, and there's no issues at all.
Yeah. So I encourage people to definitely learn how to do it. I've always been very open personally to talking people through it. I've written some articles in the past about how you can do it.
I will make a video on it, by the way, because it's been requested over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm just not very I don't like to go into my exchange account and record it. Like, right. There might be some sensitive information I don't want to expose.
You got to kind of have
I will not do it live. I will make sure I edit it, and I can blur out things if I shouldn't show it, and things like that. One question we have from JR is, what makes it a metaverse?
What makes it so? Metaforce is part of our view on it is that all of these different metaverses exist in kind of like a multiverse scenario. So there's Upland, and there's Alien Worlds, and there's our planet, and there's the Uplift, and then there's a whole bunch outside of Wax as well, that some say, yes, we're a metaverse, some say, no, we're not a metaverse. But I don't see it that siloed. I see the whole NFT space as one big metaverse, and everybody that exists in it exists within that metaverse, because there's very, very few people that only exist in one part of it. There's very, very, very few people that only buy one brand of NFT, that only exist in one game. It's all connected. The communities are connected. Everybody talks. Everybody, says, well, I've got this in this metaverse and I've got that in that metaverse. We see it all as one big multiverse metaverse. And so Metaforce, the comic book series, will move fairly fluidly through those. So, we may have an issue where we talk about Upland, and we may have an issue where we talk about or interact with personalities in the Uplift, and maybe we interact with people, crypto monkeys or whoever it may be. It's all one big dynamic multiverse of metaverses from our standpoint. So we won't exist. There won't be just the Metaforce world that's closed off to everything else that's going on. There's going to be a lot of collaboration and a lot of dynamic stuff. But again, it's not going to be willy-nilly. All of our collaborators, we're talking to them and we're talking about how will this work with the story? How are we going to fold this in? It's not going to be like randomly like, hey, here's a card with this other guy's logo on it and give us more money. Like, we're not doing that.
Why?
A lot of our collaboration stuff, we may not even sell. We may distribute it to people who hold a certain amount of our collection. I'm on the Crypto Monkeys team. I came up in that Crypto Monkeys environment where everything Crypto Monkeys is given away. They don't sell anything. The only things that are sold are charity auctions, and that money goes to charity. So, and if you look at the price of Crypto Monkeys cards, they're valuable.
They're high.
Their value proposition comes from.
I know I sold one for over 1,000 wax at one point.
Yeah, I mean, there's some that have sold for a couple $1,000s. So, and they're all cards that have been given away for free, and so we see the value in that. We see the value in the free distribution and letting the community assign value to these things. That's also why we didn't want to make a high barrier to entry. We just want to get it out there and let the community take hold of it and let the community decide the value. And so we're going to sell what we need to sell to pay for things like our website, to pay for building the platform, to build the reader. What we make from selling this stuff, it's going to go back into building the space better for everyone. And when we figure out how this reader is done, it's not going to be a secret. Anybody.
Yeah, and that is what I love about all of these, like the honest NFT project that has been arriving, those that have actually been participating in the community, those that can do some kind of marketing, those that has been out here, work with people and has presented their product in a good way. Their product has been selling really well. So that's like the best Kickstarter ever. Like, look at Mars Cars. That's crazy Kickstarter money there. Yeah. It's like they have money now to buy devs. I really hope they will not like overspend for things because they have enough to spend for it. And that is a problem that can happen. And like that you are building out things. You already started and everything is here. That is very good. And like, this is not your first day in the Wax ecosystem. Not only have you managed to get a t-shirt of Wax, but you're like on all the live stream channels, you're there at one point or another that has Wax related content.
I really, so I want to figure this out, not only because I want to put our comic books there and I want them to be readable. I want people to want to go in and read them. I don't want it to be like, I'm going to collect this thing, I'm going to throw it in the vault and I'm not going to think about it. I mean, the power of NFT comic books. What was the worst thing as a kid when you were actually a collector? you had to decide, am I going to read this comic book? Am I going to enjoy it? Am I going to let it get dog-eared and dirty? Or am I going to buy it and I'm going to put it in a sleeve and I'm going to put it away somewhere safe, right?
Like that has never been a problem for me. Never. I buy, I read, I use it. And then it's in a drawer somewhere. I have never even crossed my mind to save a comic book. It hasn't existed in my mind.
So
it's the same thing. I collected Magic cards. I just had them in a big pile. I had Pokemon cards. There was just a big pile. I have a lot of cogs. They were just in a big pile. I was playing games. I was using them as they were intended. I am not the collector by nature.
So here's the great thing about digital. You can go and read it 1,000 times. You're not going to dog-ear a digital copy, right? And we don't want it to be tough to read. We don't want you to have to click through this image and then this image and this image. You know, we want people to go back and read these comics 50 times, you know, make their connections, make their, in their mind, their picture of where it's going to go. And who knows, you know, this comic book series may spin off another comic book series, or who knows what the future is going to bring. And that's really exciting that, you know, we're going to have the opportunity to gain fans, and then those fans are going to have the opportunity to engage with us, maybe make their own thing. Maybe they make fan art. Maybe, you know, somebody really great, we connect with somebody great and and we start a project with them.
Like Chaos Moon. I mean, David Boller is in the Wax ecosystem now. Have you seen him?
Who's this?
Like Chaos Moon. Have you seen that collection on Wax?
No, I don't think so.
He has a physical comic book called Chaos Moon, and he's now releasing a lot of art he's created over the last 13 years, 16 years, a lot of years. He has worked on Marvel, he's worked on DC, he has worked on like all of the big brands, like drawing Spider-Man and all of these things. And he's a legit guy, and he's releasing NFTs. I have a bunch of his NFTs, and like he has been manually listing them one at a time on the market. He hasn't figured out the drops and everything. And I and a few other, we were there and snatched all the mint 1, 2, 3 very quickly and everything. But that guy is someone, if I don't know if he even wants to work with anyone. I know that he loves to work alone, but if he wants to do, like, he has done physical collector cards of like the Hulk and all, like he has done all the design things someone that loves drawing can do. So that guy is probably someone that can be very exciting to work with. I don't know if he wants to, but
well, I mean, we're open to work with anybody. I really want, I want to build this platform so other people can use it, because I mean, selfishly, I want to own stuff that I can enjoy reading. I want other people to be able to take the same things that we're figuring out and apply it more broadly. I want to be able to go and own my books and comic books and novels, even, who knows, right? When we bring that entire reading ecosystem to NFTs, where you're not married to your Amazon account or your Google account or whatever.
Talking about Amazon and Google, can you like the reading this? Will you only be able to do it on your website when you log in, verify you have an NFT, or can you download it and throw it in your Kindle and you can have it laying on the beach somewhere?
So we're working through figuring out how that is all going to happen right now. I can say whatever we figure out, we're not going to keep it secret. You know, we're talking now about the technical limitations of what you can and can't do. So Wax itself and IPFS is not much of a limitation. IPFS, basically, you can throw anything you want up there, right?
Yeah. And
so if there are image files, just like any NFT, anybody can go and download those image files, right? And if ultimately our data is in animated GIFs, yeah, sure, someone can go download that, just like any NFT. I think that the magic with it all is going to be able to be putting those collections of files together to look like something. So this is where, you know, Atomic Hub starts. They're not only the marketplace, but they're a viewer, and they have a very nice setup for certain things. And they continue to improve. You know, I've talked to Joan about, you know, what platforms and what what pieces of information are going to be able to be shown on Atomic Hub in the future. And he's got his whole roadmap for that laid out. The trick is in taking 30 different sheets of images and not having to click through this image and this image and this image and this image, and not having to find some other way to do it. And even with PDFs, some people have Adobe and some people don't, and some people look at PDFs one way or another. And there's all kinds of PDFs. There's signable PDFs and there's flat PDFs and all of this stuff. So once we figure it out, a way that really works, I think that we're going to encourage other people to use that. And in a sense, we'll more or less open source it.
That's very nice.
I want to grow the space. I want other people to be able to do it. And maybe what that looks like initially is somebody else figures out how this works and they build some comic books, right? And then maybe for a month, the only place you can go and read the comic books is our website, and that's fine. If somebody approaches us and say, hey, we want our books to be readable on your website, great. Or if they say, we want you to help us set up a website, we're going to work through that. And that's something that I've been pushing very hard. I want to embrace that idea of decentralization, open source. There's this, your first intuition for some people and for a lot of people is like, well, how can we profit off this? How can we make sure that we protect this new development for as long as we can? So the only way people can get it is to come to our website. And that's very alluring, but in the end, somebody else, if you figured it out, somebody else is going to figure it out, right? And then you're just the a-hole that tripped up other people for a couple of months. I don't want to be that guy, so I want our product to be our comic book. I want people to care about us and our characters. And if they come and read that on our website, that's great. If someone else figures out how to make it, or we help someone else figure out how to make it, and they make a better reader, that's a win for me too, because my comic book can now get read a bunch of different places. And if this becomes widespread and the whole NFT market figures out a great way to make novels and comic books and pamphlets and stuff that is just really easy to use, that can go from, it can be ported, it can be wrapped, it can be, go from Wax to Binance to Ethereum to EOS, just the same way that we're seeing all of these gateways for these other things. That's great. That's awesome. If
like the way I see it, like there will be content that you want to protect, so you can't just download it. There will be music, people want to buy albums, like they will work like a key. If you have this NFT, you're like, when you log into service, they will scan your address and they will see if you have it, you can actually play it. If not, you can't do it. That is one way I see the comic to actually work, where you actually log in on your website. When you log in, it will go through your account. Do you have the comics? Yes, you have common, uncommon, rare, epic, or mythic, or whatever it will be. And if you have that, then you can actually open these in the website. And if you don't, you don't have it. Then the negative side of this is, if you by any chance go out of business in the next 3, 5, 10, 15 years,
right,
the book will be gone. So there is a big downside by having this locked content that you have to rely on other people for.
I agree with you. I am always nervous when a product is tied to a website, because exactly that, something could happen to that one website, something could happen to that one person. I don't want our comics to go away because some weird thing happens that our website goes away that's completely outside of our control, or we get older or whatever. So I don't want to keep it proprietary, because everything proprietary eventually fades away until there's a standard. And it's almost never the case that the first thing that comes out becomes the standard, especially if that person makes it very proprietary. So, I think it's to our advantage and to our readers' advantage that we help grow a system where everybody can adopt that, and it can work, on different websites. The web, again, our one thing that we keep going back to is our website isn't our product. Our collectibles isn't our product. Our comic book is our product. And we want to give that as much life in as many places as possible.
Like, I don't know if you ever used that, but collectibles.io, before they had to shut down because the API, everything got too expensive and they are focused on other things. They actually had a magazine that you could go through your garbage pail kit collection and flip pages and things. It wasn't perfect, but it was cool enough that you could actually have like the first 6 cards, I think it was, on the first page, and then the second 6 cards, and then if you hit it, you got the next 12 cards, the next 12 cards. So they had this page animation inside a website that you didn't even have to log in to use. I don't know if that is an open source project. I know that one can probably just ask Syed about it and see, hey, is that something that is openly available? Is it something that you built yourself? I don't know.
Yeah, we've been talking to a number of different people for a little bit of time. I am not doing the actual development of that. There's someone else on our team that is doing the actual development of that. So I definitely let him tell me how that's progressing rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
But also, I'm sure he'll be watching the stream, and I will pass that information along to him, so that he has it. I think that rings a bell. That's something we've discussed in the past, though.
Yeah, yes. So that like the available options are at least discussed. I'm not sure that might not even be closely the best option, but at least it's a option.
Yeah.
So that is good, very good. I feel like for anyone watching, I have been sick for a few days, and I feel like my nose is starting to fill up. I'm way better now, so I can actually be in camera and speak, and I don't look all broken down. But I think we have been on here for over an hour now, so I think it's good. We should wrap it up. Get like the core, what is happening on Saturday in 2 days at noon EST. What can they expect? What can they buy? Where will everything work? How does it work?
So everything is going to be on Atomic Hub. You don't have to go to any other website. There will be links from our website, but everything will be happening on Atomic Hub. We will have a banner on Atomic Hub. You click that, and that will give you packs. It will be our collectible card packs on Saturday. You'll be able to buy 2 size packs, and then an hour after the sale, which is at 12 noon, will be the pack opening and the crafting site, which will also be Atomic Hub. So all you need to be able to do is get to Atomic Hub with some wax, noon Eastern on Saturday, and you are good to go.
If you have too much wax, you can always donate it to me. It's okay. No, but okay. Noon Saturday. Get wax. Go to Atomic Hub. Have fun. 1 p.m. Saturday. Go for the mint sprint. Get the cool upgraded NFTs if that is something you want. After the first 40% of the packs are open, is that like 40% total cards or 40% per pack?
40% of total cards, because the packs have the same rarity percentages in them.
Yeah.
So it's 40%.
So it's just that you have 5 or 30 slots when you open them.
Yeah. Right. They will draw from the same pool. We didn't want to get it too complicated. So if 40% of the cards, there's 90,000 cards, right? So if 37,500 or whatever it is, 35,000 cards, if those get opened primarily out of one pack type or another, it doesn't matter. Then it's going to switch over to pool number 2, and you'll start seeing the mint number 1s come out. So the first mint number 1 that will happen will probably be a crafted mint number 1. I suspect that's going to be what happens.
JR says, don't forget to send me, that is myself, the 2 card packs so I can donate them to other people. I think it is because he has a lot of slices and he wants some free cards.
I'll send some over as soon as we get them minted up.
That's cool, and I can send them all to JR's wallet, and I don't have to draw anything. He will get them anyway. Like when I do all of these, each time for the legendary slices, I do like the wheel of names, and I like the cool things go out to them. And JR is almost always one of the cool, like the accounts that got picked. I don't know why, but he's always there. Awesome.
Well, send me an address. I have a whole bunch of. We've been giving out these promo stickers, so I got a whole bunch of stickers I can send over to you as well that can go out to slice holders.
That is awesome. They will be very happy. And like, okay, if you haven't paid attention to this, I have asked 3 different designers to do different like designs that I will use, and I will animate some of them. I will do a lot of things. I will have them just playing as they are. They are amazing. Like one of them, I'm like, oh my God, I want to buy this. But the thing is, I will send them all out and I have to buy them from the secondhand market. Like I'm doomed. Yeah, I need to get them. I don't know what I will do. I might have to save one of them, but that's awesome. Yeah, they will be very happy. So that's good. Saturday noon. Any last words, or do you want? How do you think the sale will go? What's your take?
I hope that as many people that want them gets them, and it doesn't get heavily botted. And I don't care how long it takes to sell. I don't care if it takes a minute. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes. I just care that they get out there into the hands of people that actually want them. And that's what we're going to look at. That's why we designed the distribution the way we did. Maybe it's not the best solution, but we're going to try, and we're going to look at it. So I want them to get out there, and I want them to get open. I want to get that 80, 85, 90% of packs open. I want the art to be out there for people to enjoy. It doesn't do any good sitting inside a pack, sitting in a pool wallet waiting to show up. So
yeah, that's that's good. There. And personally, from just how the chat is going, and that some people in the chat that I know who they are excited, means that I think it will go sooner than later. We will see.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So very happy to have you on. Thanks for coming, and I wish you the best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
And there, they can't see us anymore, but they can.
My Bitcoin bowl is all I have left. Sold my